Sam, how do you do? Give me five, I'm still alive. Ain't no luck, I learned to duck.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mike. How are you?
Pops, I'm doing good.
Well, good.
Almost doing good.
Well, we haven't done this for a while, so hopefully by the time you're done, you will be doing better.
Well, it's going to take probably about 5 weeks before I'm going to get to do any better.
Really?
Well, here's an example.
Okay. Should I take notes?
Please do.
Okay.
3 weeks ago, the gasoline price up here at our neighborhood Shell, and you know where that's at, $4.19. It was declining. It was coming down from $5.30 or whatever it was at one point. All right. And our illustrious leader is patting himself on the back for bringing that price down. After a 2-week sabbatical in Colorado, I came back and the price jumped to $4.69. So within the last few days, it's now $4.99.
Is it really?
And that is if you pay cash. So many people who don't have that kind of cash in their pocket, well, then it costs them a dime a gallon more. As an example, because they get the 5 cents off per gallon discount with my Join the Shell people, it cost me $5.04.9 per gallon.
I wouldn't buy gas there anymore.
So I'm thinking, oh, let's go to town. It's got to be cheaper. I get into town, $4.89 at one place, $4.99 at another.
Really?
Yeah.
Need to get in deeper into town. Because it does get cheaper. I just put gas in my vehicle a couple days ago, and last week. So it may be up, but I need gas now. So I've been looking at prices as I drive around, and gosh, what is it now? I don't know.
See,
still
that's what's perturbing me. While we are sitting here, the prices are going back up. Yeah. And I just heard Joe Biden say that in several states, gasoline is down under $3 a gallon.
Not in our state. Well, here it gets even worse here in Arizona.
It does.
Because I just saw something online this morning saying that gas was below $4 in Tucson. And yet it's about $1 a gallon more in Phoenix than in Tucson. Now, excuse me, but I don't know what could be creating that difference, because the tax rate in Tucson, the Arizona state tax rate, is the same.
Right.
And $1 a gallon difference, again, and I've said this before, we're being played.
Well, I like to think of it as being raped.
Well, that would be another term.
And I would say that because, first of all, I am retired, and it's gotten so far into my retirement that I can't fathom it. I never thought we would ever hit this situation again.
No, I didn't either, especially with elections coming. I really didn't think that gas would start going back up. I'm a firm believer that it will still come back down on its own just because of the elections. But you alluded to it. You just returned from a nice little jaunt to Colorado. We both lived in Colorado for a while. I would come to Phoenix a couple times a year to see family and friends, and gas was always cheaper in Arizona than Colorado. I liked New Mexico because it was cheaper than both. I have no idea what their prices are.
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
You want to know?
I do want to know.
I gassed up there on the way to Colorado and on the way back.
All right.
But first, let me tell you about Colorado. The most I paid in Colorado was $3.69 a gallon. $3.49 a gallon was the norm while I was there. I pay attention to these things. The wife
Sure.
thinks I'm crazy. So in New Mexico, we stopped in Grants, New Mexico, spent the night there at the little KOA. And right outside of Grants, we gassed up $3.59 a gallon.
Mm.
I crossed that border in Arizona, it went up $1, just like that. Where's the justice in all of this?
Where's Carrie Lake when you need her?
Well, right now she's hanging up on my bulletin board.
For those that don't know, for those of you that may not reside or have any connections with Arizona, obviously we're in an election year, midterms. Carrie Lake has been chosen by the Republicans to represent them in the gubernatorial election coming up in about 5 weeks. She is my choice. Has been from day one. She's Mike's choice. That's why she's up on his bulletin board. But she reminds me of a mama bear taking care of her cubs.
Yeah.
We being her cubs. I mean, I think she'll go to battle for us. I really do.
I've listened to her live, and I've been to one of her rallies right here in Festival where we live. You can feel it. This woman she's strong-willed.
Yeah.
She knows what the problems are, and I believe that she's going to take care of business.
I do
Unlike
too.
our exiting governor, and which his counterparts, Mr. Kelly, one of our senators, who claims to have done all this stuff at the border, corrected all these incoming illegal situations and problems,
Yeah.
says he's corrected it. There's no problem down there. It's BS. Plain and simple. So, is there a possibility, Haas, you think that he's going to be winning again in the Senate?
I think my prediction right now, and I don't even know if I hope I'm wrong. In the primaries, I voted for the Republican, his Republican opponent. We're talking about Mark Kelly,
Right.
Senator Mark Kelly, whose wife used to be in Congress. She survived an assassination attempt several years ago. And he's kind of taken over her spot. He's extremely liberal, but yet if you were to base your decision on the next election just based on the TV ads, which I gotta believe most people are gonna do that, and that's unfortunate. But if you base your decision on the TV ads, Mark Kelly's gonna win hands down. Not even gonna be close. I think his counterpart, Blake Masters, is going to get blown out of the water. Mark Kelly comes across on TV as, you want to call him Uncle Mark. And, he's coming over for dinner on Sunday. We're going to let Uncle Mark sit at the head of the table because he's one of us. Well, what it's telling me, because I know how he's voted, he's got a good PR firm working for him. And they're making his opponent, Blake Masters, look like a total incompetent idiot. And I haven't seen any rebuttals by Blake Masters. Now, in all fairness, I understand that, especially when we're now 5 weeks away from election, to come out with a new ad campaign to rebuke all of the things that have been said about him, there's not enough time, nor is there enough money to do that. And yet the public every year wants to cry foul when they see any type of mudslinging. Well, Mark Kelly is doing mudslinging. He's doing it in a way that is very believable. And especially when his opponent is not challenging
Fighting
it.
back. Yeah.
You know, he just go on like he's just a total incompetent idiot. There's some videos. It's not that Mark Kelly is saying stuff. He's playing videos of his opponent. It's really hard to argue with that. I mean, we can go he said, she said, but here it is in living color. Watch his lips. It matches with the soundtrack. He really said this. I mean, the guy comes out, and I don't know when he said this. I think some of the videos probably came out when he was in college. But the fact is, he still said it. He is, Blake Masters has come out. He's totally against abortion. No ifs, ands, or buts. Well, I would like to think I'm a pro-lifer. However, I think there's always an exception.
Sure.
There needs to be a rule for an exception. And my family has been hit with that. And decisions were made to abort, and I was behind it 100%. So I think with anything, I don't think you can come and say, all right, this is the way it's got to be. It's black and white. There is no black and white anymore. I mean, there are things that happen. Oh, well, okay, in this case, yeah, maybe. I think if I were running for office, I'd come out and I'd say I'm a pro-lifer. But what that means is I don't believe in abortion. I don't believe abortion should be used as a method of birth control. That's where I really draw the line.
Yep, I agree.
And it has been used by many people. I'm pregnant. Let's just go get it taken care of. And I agree with that. There are others, especially in today's age, there's other methods of birth control. And you have to understand that while most of them, I mean, they're not 100% effective, they're close to it, but you have to be willing, what are we going to do if? And so anyway, but I think there's reasonable discussion that can be had by both sides. I think we could probably come to an agreement. I've got a good friend of mine that lives in Durango, Colorado. He's very liberal. I love him to death, though. He's a good guy, great singer, great guitar player. We sat, when I was there several years ago, he and I sat in the backyard in Colorado in the summertime, and we're just sucking on a beer, chewing the fat, solving the world's problems. A conservative and a liberal. And we came to an agreement on virtually everything we talked about. Just because we talked about it. We didn't debate. We talked about it. Well, what about this? Well, okay, yeah, I'll give you that. But what about that? Okay, I'll give you that. That's what we need to start doing again. But
they're not talking though.
no,
Both sides of the aisle.
No.
They're not talking to each other.
no. It comes
That's
down
where the
to
issues are.
who has the most money in their war chest and who's got the best ad agency working for them. Because we typically make decisions based on sound bites.
That's right.
And folks, that's not the way to do it. It really is not. So I don't know. I don't know who I really favor in the senatorial election. Carrie Lake has got my vote for the governor, and her opponent, Katie Hobbs, has been in politics for a while. She's a nice looking lady. I'm sure she's fairly intelligent. She comes across that way, but she refuses to get on the stage with Kerry Lake and discuss the issues.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe. If you're running for an office such as governor of the state, you would think, yeah, let's go head to head. Let's talk about these issues. Let's talk about the border. Let's talk
Yeah.
about immigration. Right? Let's talk about gun control.
Yeah,
Let's talk about these things. Do it live on TV. When
absolutely.
you're voting public, hash it out. Then you get a clearer picture of who's really honest about winning this election,
Absolutely.
and what direction they want to take Arizona.
Absolutely. And that's, yeah, we talk about election reform. We need election reform. Well, I think we do. And I'd like to see campaigning change drastically. We don't need a gazillion signs littering our highways and byways. Now, we don't need a gazillion TV and radio commercials bombarding us as we're sitting there trying to watch our shows and whatever. But I would like to think that most of the time and effort could be spent into some public debates that would be
Yeah.
filmed. Again, you've got to do it better than the last presidential debates, where some people get served up a nice big old softball to hit, and others are trying to swat at a bullet. There's got to be a way to do it, but I would rather sit through a show like that. And, basically everybody needs to answer the same question. And quite honestly, I wouldn't mind setting it up on a Zoom. And so here's our list of questions. All right, Kerry Lake, we're going to ask you these 10 questions. And Katie Hobbs is going to be asked the same questions. You're not on the same stage together. You can't hear what her response is. She can't hear what yours is. So
That would be pretty interesting.
yeah. So let's do it this way. And that way the public can now decide, you know what? I don't like that person, or I do like that person because, and you've got some valid reasons, because they said this, and this, and their opponent said that, and that. I don't know why I'm so freaking smart. It's such a burden.
Your intelligence surprises me out there.
Hey,
No, you know what I'm saying?
no, we have no common sense in our elections, nor in many other things. But golly, we're just dividing. The country is just becoming more and more divisive. And, if I'm hoping that the Republicans get control of Congress, but I'm also realistic enough to know they're not going to do anything about it. They may slow the present administration down, but the Republican caucus that we have in the Senate and in the House have no backbone.
Yeah, but we can't keep going the way we are.
No, we need to fire them all.
Well, Donald Trump was on his way to doing that.
Yeah,
They kind of took care of that. I'm not going to say it was a rigged election, but let's put it this way: he didn't get in again, but he was well on his way of draining that swamp. It just needs to happen more now
yeah,
than before. Before they were getting away with a lot of pork belly programs, and you didn't hear about them too much. It's like, here's this great big file. We want to pass this bill. Nancy Pelosi, don't worry about it. We'll read it after it's passed.
yeah,
Americans bought into that crap.
yeah.
You can't do that. So
Yeah.
that's what's really helping to take America down. Let's face it.
Absolutely. Things have got to change. Otherwise, I mean, we're probably 2 elections away from completely losing this country if they don't go the right way. The thing that I find interesting, though, is that, we believe the way we do for the reasons that we have. we're very passionate about our beliefs. But if you
Yeah.
go to some of the liberal sites, they can say the same thing. They have just as much passion about their beliefs and why they believe it. They both, on both sides, are saying, we believe in this country. I believe in the red, white, and blue, and this and that. But we're not showing it. And again, because we're making decisions based on sound bites.
But
And
we don't have a strong leadership in
Yeah,
Washington. And that's so obvious, it's sad. It should start there and trickle down, but it's not.
no. And, there's a lot of good things I can say about Donald Trump, but he was not a facilitator of getting us back together again. Now, I understand he also was under fire from day one. And he got to the point, I think Donald Trump, we've talked about this, like him, hate him, I think we can agree on one thing. He's a bully. I think we needed a bully. I think we still need a bully to get certain things taken care of,
Right?
but he's not going to get the country back together again. I'm kind of hoping that maybe Ron DeSantis or somebody like that can surface and start winning people over from the other side. That's what we need. I think the Democrats could do a lot better job at picking candidates. I think the Republicans can do a lot better job at picking candidates. I mean, look at how many people ran for president. My gosh. And when you look at on the Republican side, all the people that ran for president back when Trump won, there were some good people on that panel.
Yeah, there was.
And I'm thinking, how did we end up with Donald Trump? And again, I'm not trying to talk smack about him, but with all the people that were running for president, how do we end up with an outsider? I think it's because we were fed up with the process.
We were fed up with politicians.
We were
Ted
fed up.
Cruz, to me, was a front runner at that time.
Yep.
And he beat out Ted Cruz. I was amazed.
Yeah.
No offense to Trump. He's not a politician. He's not polished at much of anything. He is a bully, but he's an American. He believes in America. He gets the job done.
But from day one, the Democrats went after him.
He was impeached. I think from day one is when he started impeachment.
I think I read something this
proceedings.
morning. I think it was
Yeah.
17 hours after the inauguration, impeachment proceedings got started. Now, in all fairness, what was it? I read the other day that the liberals have tried to impeach every Republican president. Can't remember now. It's since Ronald Reagan, maybe. But I mean, it just seems to be that's the first thing on their agenda.
Yeah.
We're going to impeach them. Oh, stop it.
Quit tying up our courts.
Absolutely.
Quit tying up our people.
And
Stuff like that. Come on.
the
Battle it
liberals,
out.
the liberals cry foul because a lot of Republicans think the last election was rigged. And yet they don't acknowledge the fact that they went after Donald Trump before he said anything.
Right.
And so he was on the defensive from day one. And a bully is not going to take that lightly. And so I mean, it's just like a good attorney in the courtroom. You got to find that soft spot in your opponent and go after him and get him to really expose himself in court. So, the jury won't like him. Well, that's what they did. He exposed himself as being, he's got a temper. I would have acted the same way. I think you would have too. If
Absolutely.
So we need somebody with the temperament of a Ronald Reagan to surface who can sit down, and even a Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, we said a lot of smack about, but you know what? He was a likable guy. He really was. I didn't like all the things he did, but he was a likable guy. And quite honestly, one of the few Democrats that actually we ended up with a better economy during his tenure as president than we had before. So he didn't do everything wrong. I think his morals were suspect, but
Yeah.
John Kennedy the same way. But whatever, we got to get beyond that. That's why we need to elect people that are smarter than that. You have to understand you're the president, or if you're the governor, or if you're a senator, you're on stage 24/7.
Exactly.
Act like it.
And all your constituents and both sides of the aisle should be the same way. You can't
Absolutely.
hide. When they vote on some of these policies and bills, House bills, be there. You can't be absent from all of them. You go out and look at the House bills, not on gov.gov or whatever it is, and the HR House bills.
Yeah.
And you'll see a lot of it'll tell you who voted for it and who didn't,
Right.
or who was a no-show. You will be amazed at
But
how many of these people don't vote.
but
Get
in
things
in
get passed.
in today's era of technology, you should be able to vote no matter where you're at. Hey, we got a
Right.
vote coming up in 27 minutes. You need to call in. Okay, I'm on Zoom. Everybody can see me. They can hear me. I vote yes. I vote no. Okay, the vote has been counted. Thank you. Go back to whatever you're doing. I understand life happens, and so you're not going to be there. But that's why we talk. I don't know that I know anybody that is against term limits. You can have that discussion with liberals, libertarians, conservatives, everybody that I know of that I've talked to said, yeah, we need term limits. Folks, we have term limits. It's called elections. Happen every 2 years. And yet we continue to vote the same idiots in year
Well, as
after
an
year.
example of Pelosi, were on term limits, she'd serve her 2 tours and out.
Yeah,
That's the difference. You can't vote her in on that 3rd term.
I agree.
That's term limits.
Well, there needs to be 2 terms. Either that or one longer term. I don't know. I'm almost
6
thinking
years maybe.
I'm almost thinking a longer term. That way you don't have to take time off to campaign. It's going to save everybody money.
Yeah.
But whatever, work that out. That's a minor thing. Work that out. But at best, being in government, at least on the federal level, it's a part-time job because you just talked about it. You're not going to be there at your seat, at your chair, at your desk all the time. So it's a part-time job. I don't know of another part-time job that pays retirement benefits.
Yeah.
So no, there's
And
no
residuals.
yeah, no, you get paid a livable wage while you're there. I think it could be less than what it is right now, but we'll pay you a livable wage. We know you have expenses and staff and things like that. Fine. But at the end of your term, thank you for your service, sir or ma'am. Have a nice life. You need to go back into the workforce or whatever. That's how it was originally set up.
Correct. Right.
And we've gotten into, if I had to do it all over again, I'm thinking that's a pretty easy way to go. Just become a career politician. You don't need to do anything. You just need to smile, kiss some babies, shake some hands, vote for me, because I'm the real deal. We're in trouble. We are in trouble.
It's been a while since we've seen the real deal.
I don't
You
know.
know, a
Yeah.
lot of people didn't like Reagan, but Reagan did a lot of good things for this country.
Well, he had the temperament because
Exactly.
there was a lot of discourse back then. I don't remember any hatred when Reagan was president, other than what Hinckley, you know.
Right. Right.
But the thing is, I mean, he could sit down with you. You couldn't help but like the guy,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't have to agree with him. But I still like him because I think he would give me a chance to talk, and if I would give him a chance to talk, we again could probably agree on most every issue. We could come to a compromise. We've forgotten how to compromise. You know,
One thing that I really admired about Reagan, well, there's more than one, but the one thing that stands out to me is that he had the courage to not back down to the world leaders.
right?
When East Germany was struggling to keep that wall up, he told Gorbachev, take it down.
Absolutely.
And he meant it, and he was standing by what America would do if that did not happen.
Well, and I think Trump had the same clout with world leaders. I think
Right?
he was respected by world leaders. Did they like him? No. I would think that Mr. Putin doesn't like him at all. But he understands when Donald says something, he's going to pay attention,
That's right.
you know? And it's just, if you could get a Donald Trump with a Reagan personality, geez, look out.
Yeah, exactly.
It
You know,
would
I think Ron DeSantis, because we talked about him briefly, the way he's currently handling the hurricane situation in Florida,
Yeah,
that is going to serve him very, very well
absolutely.
because he knows every operation that's going on in every precinct, every city, every town. He's got it under control.
Yeah.
And if you watch any of the interviews that he's doing or press reports that he's giving, the guy's got it.
Yeah.
Could he replace Donald Trump in the polls? Maybe. Maybe. Could he be a partner with Trump? Maybe. But I don't know if I'd want to work for Donald Trump.
Well, and that's just it. You know, I've heard a lot of people say the dream ticket would be Trump and DeSantis. I don't know if DeSantis wants to do that. I really don't, just because Trump brings a lot of things to the table that would be detrimental to his second in command, who might have aspirations of, I want to run for president in 4 years, because you're not going to be eligible. He may be tainted. So I wouldn't be surprised if Trump were to get the nomination or get back into the race, and it looks like he's going to get it. I wouldn't be surprised to have DeSantis say thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that would serve him well. I think the people in Florida would rejoice in that, because they don't want to lose a guy like that.
You know, I think Mike Pence was a very strong voice in Indiana as governor there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when he became a running partner with Donald Trump, his voice went from here to here.
Yeah.
I don't think he was given many opportunities by Donald Trump. I don't know. I can't say that for sure.
Can't either.
I can see he wasn't given many opportunities to get out there and do a whole lot for the country as a VP.
I'd love to have a conversation with Mike Pence. You know, I got a chance to talk to him briefly back in 2014 when we were on a little motorcycle ride going through Indianapolis.
That was fun.
He was a gracious man, easy to talk to. It was an honor. It truly was. And I didn't, until we got there, had you asked me who the governor of Indiana was, I wouldn't have had a clue. So, but I liked what he said. He addressed our group, and I really liked what he had to say. And then when I saw him standing around afterwards talking to different people, I felt motivated. I want to just go and say, hey, thank you, sir. I appreciate your words. And I did. And then it turned into a nice conversation, probably close to 10 minutes. And I was amazed that the governor of Indiana, I mean, and there was nobody else standing around. I had a one-on-one with him. And man, I'd love to get him on KHEAT radio to say what really happened. You know, because I think he's got some stories, and maybe at this point he doesn't want to say anything. I don't know, but I'd like to really hear his take on what happened without all the outside noise.
Yeah.
Just, I'm not going to try and lead you, but tell us in your own words what the heck happened.
Yeah. I'm sure after this next election, maybe he could win. I think it's doubtful, but maybe after this next election in 2 years, presidential election, he'll open up because he, as you know, he's running for president of the United States right now. And
Who is?
Mike Pence,
He's running for the president?
he's running for president of the United States.
Oh, I didn't know that he had even declared.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay.
But if he decides not to run, or if he, when it gets down to the debates, he's, falls aside, backs out, I could understand that. But he was never given a big voice when he was working for Donald Trump. And I always thought that was a mistake.
Well, and I agree, but I also understand Donald Trump. He's going to be in charge, like it or not.
Yeah.
He's in charge. And quite honestly, you look back through history. We have a lot of history we can look back through. You more than me, because you're a lot older than me. But the vice president, but the vice president he's been a figurehead. He or she, you're going to go to funerals, you're going to represent this, but you're not going to get involved in anything. And I think that's a mistake. I really do.
You should be at the president's side, because if something happens to the president, guess what you are?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're the president. And right now, I'm hoping that the president we have can at least last another 2 years.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his
For obvious
sidekick,
reasons.
his sidekick is the best insurance policy he has.
Yeah. I think it was all intentional, but that's my opinion.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's something that it's like every week there's something new happening. It's a new surprise. Pelosi, as an example, just went to a rally, a beer drinking rally for a bunch of young liberals in California, and she was booed on stage. And she
Really?
tried to thank them for being an advocacy of whatever she stands for in California. She was booed.
But yet she still gets reelected.
Yeah.
How does that happen? The whole country knows that she's an idiot. They know that Governor Newsom is an even bigger idiot,
Oh.
and is related to her. I mean, it's just the nepotism in our politics right now. It's absurd.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what more of a call to action we as a country needs than what's going on right now.
Yeah.
But the problem is, more than I've ever seen it before, if you got a D on your ballot, you're going to vote Democrat. You got an R, you're going to vote Republican. Doesn't matter who it is. You're just going to go straight down the line.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but I don't understand why we're doing it. At some point in time, we've got to get better candidates running. We really do. And especially here in Arizona. Again, I like our gubernatorial choice for Republicans.
Yes.
Don't know what the heck happened with the Senate. I really don't. You know, I'd love to get Blake Masters on here and say, what are you doing?
Yeah. What-
You know?
Yeah. Here's what you're not doing. You're
Yeah.
not getting the public involved. You don't have a very strong campaign and your ads really suck. You
Yeah.
look like a sad sack.
He looks like he's a goofball.
He was a very successful businessman. Extremely successful. And I'm thinking, why did you ever want to leave that for politics?
Yeah.
Because you look at his record, I think he's a Stanford grad, and he's a law school Stanford. So, I mean, the guy's smart. He's intelligent. He's been the CEO of companies and that he started, foundations that he started. But yet you put him in front of a camera to run for a Senate, and the guy doesn't look like he's anything more than a high school graduate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate to say it that way.
Tell you what, I'm going to reach out this next week to through his website, see if I can make contact with anybody and give him an opportunity to come on and defend his position.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to hear it. Again, I don't want to set him up. I don't want to set any up. I'd love to have Katie Hobbs come on here. You know, the only question I have for you is why don't you want to get on the stage with Kari Lake? You know, are you afraid she's going to bully you? Okay, that's legitimate because I think she would.
Yeah.
But gosh, if you're smart, why wouldn't you want to expose that and turn around, folks? Do you want another Donald Trump? Some people are going to say yes. A lot of people are going to say no. I mean, you take advantage of stuff like that, but she's running and hiding is not taking advantage of it.
No.
So, but you know, I'd love to any person out there that is running for office. We've got an open door right here at K-Heat Radio. I'd love to have you on. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Communist, whatever.
But stop at the commie.
I'd love to have them come on and tell us why we should believe that way. You know, and then again, in all fairness, I'll give them a chance to talk, but then I want to talk too, and you would want to talk. So it's not that we won't challenge anybody, but I'm going to do it in a professional way. I'm not going to name call, you know, and that's how debate ends up. Usually you run out of ammunition and so, well, you're an idiot. Yeah, well, you're a moron, dude. Stop it.
Yeah.
You know, that may be true, but we have no room for that.
No.
Let's just talk about the issues. And if I run out of stuff to say, then maybe it's because you got better ideas than I thought.
Well, I just
That's
want
not a
one of
bad
those
thing.
people to give me an honest answer about the border. Number one, why is it still open?
Yeah.
Number two, when are we going to close it? And why are we accepting everybody into America across our borders?
Yeah.
We know that they're thugs and a lot of these illegals belong in jail. They don't belong in America.
No,
Why?
not at all.
Why do we not have the National Guard down there?
Yeah.
Working alongside Border Patrol, keeping people out.
I
Stopping
totally.
them before they get to the river.
Yeah.
In Mexico.
So how are we doing on time? I didn't even look to see when we started.
Well, there should be a little meter up there that tells you what time it is.
Oh yeah, there should be, but there's not.
Well, that's
That's
okay.
all right.
We can end
Maybe.
the show whenever you like.
Well,
We've probably been going about 45 minutes. Looks like.
all right. Well, people are probably tired of listening to us,
Ah,
but
they ain't
before
seen
we
nothing yet.
go, before we go, I'd like to encourage everybody. First of all, thanks for tuning in, but tune into some of the other shows that we've got.
Oh.
We just had a show that took place this week. Dr. Clint Dickinson He's a chiropractor, Castle Rock, Colorado. I've known Dr. Clint for many, many years. He's a good guy. I've never had him adjust me except one time, and that was just a finger on my neck. That's all he did. And all of a sudden, within a matter of a couple hours, my range of motion in my head was amazing. And he just, I call him up at home. I said, "What did you do to me?" He said, "Oh, you can turn your head now, huh?" He didn't even tell me what he was going to do. He just said, "Sit still. I want to do something." And I had told him, because he would come in and do shows on another radio station that we were a part of. And he always would ask, "Would you like an adjustment while I'm here?" "No, thanks, Doc. Not a big fan of chiropractors."
Just
Well,
give me the finger and leave.
I started listening to what he said, and I realized that chiropractic care is not just about making your back feel better or making your shoulder feel better because it hurts. There's a lot more to it. And so I really gained a lot of respect for this man's knowledge and passion in what he does. And this one day, he came up, he said, "I want to do something." And I told him from day one, "If you crack my neck, I swear to God, I will kill you." And he said, "You're really serious, aren't you?" I said, "Oh, serious as a heart attack. Do not pop my neck. I don't like to be popped at all. I know some people like that. I don't." So he said, "I'm not going to pop your neck. I'm just going to touch you with one finger." Okay, well, that can't hurt. And so he just put it on the side of my neck, held it there for, I don't know, 2-3 seconds. "Give me a call tomorrow. Let me know how you feel." "What are you talking about? What'd you do?" And that night, all of a sudden, I'm turning to talk to my wife, and I'm, "Oh my God, I can see you." She goes, "Well, yeah, I'm sitting right here." "No, you don't understand. You're always sitting here, and I can get about halfway, and I just figure that's as far as my head turns." But all of a sudden that night, I was able to turn it all the way around. Not all the way around, but I was able to turn it and look at her and going, "Holy cow, you ugly." No, I didn't. She's not my wife anymore, so I can say that. Anyway, but
Well, he did have a good show this week.
he had a great show this week because he kind of gave us, he gave us a history of chiropractic care, how it started, what happened, and I was mesmerized by it. I really was. And so tune into some of these shows. This is as close as politics as we get. We do have another show called The Situation, where Jersey Joe is the host, and he will talk about issues, but he very seldom puts a label on it. Just talks about issues. I'm good with that. If we do politics, we're going to try and keep it as polite and professional as possible. But we've got Lady Joe, as we affectionately refer to her, not Jersey Joe. We have Jersey Joe and we have Lady Joe. Lady Joe is an attorney. I thought she was going to do a legal-based show. She said, "That's not really what I want to do this time." "Well, what do you want to do?" Because that's what I want show hosts to do. Do what you want to do. What are you passionate about? She says, "I want to do a show, and I want to call it, Oh, the Places I've Been." So I'm not necessarily talking about physical places like, oh, I was in Rome or I was in Mexico City, or not that. But we all are here embarking on our own journey. And there's places in that journey, good places and bad places, that we've spent some time. Now, we might have spent time getting away from it, or we wish we could still spend more time at that place. But that's what she talks about. She's got different guests on every week. They talk about all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm really proud of what our show hosts are doing right now.
Right.
They're all experienced. They've all done radio before. This is not Ted Mack's amateur hour. They know what they're doing. and they're passionate about what they talk about. Tune in, tell your friends. You may learn something, and you may make a new friend in a show host. And they're all open. If you disagree with them, if you want to be a part of their show, let them know. Reach out to them. You
They'd
can
love
do
it.
that. And this really is community radio for the entire world. You want to be a part of it? Let us know. We can make that happen because we know people.
Are we passionate? I think we are.
We are probably about too many things.
We're class. Well, we're old guys, so
Yeah.
we don't have the patience like we did when we were younger.
That is true. All the places I've been when I was younger. But you're right. We don't have the patience. I don't put up with BS like I used to. It's harder and harder to walk away from it.
Sure is.
I can still be respectful, but I'm going to challenge you.
All right, my friend. I think we've come to the end of our show.
We have. It's been fun. I missed doing this with you. You were up in God's country the last couple of weeks in beautiful Colorado. I love it. I miss it.
Yeah.
But
Much
we're
cooler.
almost ready to get bragging rights weather-wise down here in the Valley of the Sun.
And I'm ready.
Me too.
My golf clubs are calling.
All right, my brother. Well, you have a great week. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for sure.